games. Everyone agrees that Cyberpunk 2077 so far is living up to the hype.
I feel like Cyberpunk has really delivered what I'm looking for. I think it's one of the most fun RPGs you can play. I think the storytelling and the buildup of tension has always been excellent.
Cyberpunk 2077 is everything we were hoping that it would be.
What makes Cyberpunk 2077 a masterpiece isn't the implants, the corporations with the logos that burn into the night sky. It's how little it feels like fiction anymore. When Cyberpunk first came out, people kept saying it felt exaggerated, too cynical, too bleak, too obsessed with corporations and control and artificial identities. But fast forward a few years and suddenly the game doesn't feel like a warning. It feels like what the world could look like a few years later down the line. We live in a world where your online identity matters more than your real one, where your value is measured in engagement, reach, and metrics you don't control, where algorithms decide what you see, what you feel, and sometimes what you believe in. If you were to tell somebody this 10 to 20 years ago, they would think that you were describing a movie or something, but this is our reality. Cyberpunk matters because it doesn't predict flying cars, it predicts systems. It understands the future isn't about technology itself, but about who owns it, who profits from it, and who gets erased by it. In Night City, corporations don't just sell products, they sell lifestyles, beliefs, and versions of yourself. We live in a world where self-expression is encouraged, but only if it fits into a platform's monetization model, or what the culture wants. You can be yourself as long as you're brand safe, marketable, and useful. Even Rebellion has rules now.
National Guard was deployed in response to anti-ICE protests here in LA back in June.
Nepal reached breaking point. At least 19 people killed as police sought to crush the protests.
Cyberpunk understood that before most people wanted to admit it. Games like this are important because they do something that most media doesn't do anymore. They let you sit inside the consequences. You don't just watch the system fail people, you participate in it. You take jobs you don't believe in, you compromise your own morals to survive. You realize that every choice happens inside of a cage that was built long before you arrived. That's exactly how the real world feels to a lot of people right now. We're told we're more connected than ever, but people feel more isolated than ever before. Work harder, don't buy that Starbucks latte every day, and maybe one day you'll be allowed to live a decent life. These are all things that people starting their lives now are being told, but it's fundamentally a symptom of a failing system. And Cyberpunk 2077 is nothing but failing systems where people are just trying to survive and make ends meet and enjoy what little life they have due to the corporations that have laid waste to everything around them. Cyberpunk doesn't romanticize this, it exposes it. V isn't special because they're powerful, they're just special because they're disposable. Just valuable enough to be used, not important enough to be saved. That's a quiet truth a lot of people recognize in their own lives, especially in a world of gig work, contract labor, and hustle culture dressed up as freedom. And Johny Silverhand represents the inner thoughts that we all have. The world is talking about One Piece right now, but then glosses over what Johny Silverhand is and what he represents. Johny Silverhand is the embodiment of fighting the system, that holding power accountable means something. It should be done to make sure that those around us don't suffer. That rebellion can change the world.
I saw a corpse strip farmers of water and eventually of land. Saw them transform Night City into a machine fueled by people's crushed spirits, broken dreams, and empty pockets. Corps have long controlled our lives, taken lots, and now they're after our souls.
Might be right. Can't really argue with you there.
V, I've declared war not because capitalism's a thorn in my side or out of nostalgia for an America gone by. This war's a people's war against a system that spiraled out of our control. It's a war against the fucking forces of entropy. Understand? Do whatever it takes to stop them.
But in Cyberpunk 2077, rebellion gets absorbed, packaged, and sold back to you as an aesthetic. A t-shirt, a playlist, a BD, a personality. Outrage is content, activism is branding, authenticity is marketing. People don't just express themselves, they perform themselves constantly for platforms that reward whatever keeps people scrolling. Cyberpunk 2077 didn't invent that idea, it just refused to look away from it. This is why games like this matter culturally. Not because it offers solutions, but because they validate the feeling that something is wrong. Modern gaming often exists to distract. Endless progression system, life services designed to keep you busy but never fulfilled. Games that don't want you to reflect. Cyberpunk does the opposite. It forces you to sit with discomfort. It asks you to think about memory, identity, mortality, and what happens when technology outpaces ethics. It asks what it means to be human in a world that treats humans like hardware. And right now, that question isn't theoretical. We're watching AI blur the line between creation and automation. We're watching corporations collect more personal data than governments ever could. We're watching culture accelerate so fast that people barely have time to process anything before the next crisis, trend, or outrage replaces it. Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't scream about this, it whispers about it, through the side quests, quiet conversations, and moments that stick with you long after the controller is set down. And Cyberpunk 2077 isn't alone. You have things like the Absolute Universe from DC, where it portrays a similar kind of message, where you have these corporations, these mega corporations, belittling the average man, literally just like how it is in Cyberpunk 2077. And when one property isn't alone when telling the same kind of story, it makes you really wonder just how bad things are in real life. And that's the power of games like Cyberpunk 2077. They don't tell you what to think. They let you feel it, and they just reconfirm what you already feel. In a time where everything is optimized for speed, games that slow you down and force reflection are rare, and that rarity makes them important. Cyberpunk 2077 matters because it captures shared anxiety, the sense that we're all living inside of a system we didn't design, racing towards futures we didn't choose, while being told this is progress. It reminds us that technology without humanity isn't advancement, it's just efficiency. And maybe the reason people keep returning to Cyberpunk isn't because it's finally running well, or because the DLC was really good, which it really was amazing. I really want more celebrities to play more roles in video games to make them that much better. Idris Elba did a fantastic job. But if you were to ask me why people keep returning to this game, I personally think it's because they're finally realizing what the game is about all this time. And quite frankly, I'm very surprised that this game hasn't been banned in certain countries. But hey, that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I actually do read them, and you guys have some very good points. So thanks for watching until the end of the video. Leave a like and subscribe if you liked it. And yeah, until next time. See ya.